Hey runners, happy Tuesday. It's the 19th of December on a kind of gloomy day in Phoenix. Temperature is about 60 degrees. Um, we've been getting light sprinkles, but we're expecting to have some rain this coming Friday and Saturday. Looks like a pretty decent one for us here in Phoenix. They're talking like an inch to an inch and a half, which for us, that's a pretty good amount of rain. But well, thanks for coming to my video here. I appreciate your support and wanted to just kind of recap what I've been doing here since, well, the last race that I did was over the weekend. But before that was the Philadelphia Half Marathon, as some of you who may have already seen that video. So I've just been, logging about 20 miles a week, 20 to 22, and just enjoying the remaining days of December as we look forward to 2024. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and kind of bring you up to speed. As I mentioned, I did a race recently. It's the hot chocolate run. There's the 5K, 10K, and 15K. So it was out here in Phoenix in the downtown area. And my wife and I both did it. I did the 5K and she did as well. She wasn't really feeling very well at all, like the day before and the morning of. It was a kind of a game time decision, which she felt good enough to race, and she did great. In fact, she finished first in her age group. And if you finish first in your age group, you get a free entry into next year. So that was great, feeling under the weather and such. So really proud of her for coming through, and she could have stayed home and laid in bed, but she felt good enough to get out there and do the race. So let's go back a little bit. Saturday, the way they do the packet pickup, which, I like it when there's a little bit more convenience there for runners. A lot of races do accommodate on the day of packet pickup, especially if you don't live very close. We're about 30 minutes away from downtown Phoenix, and this race has the packet pickup in downtown Phoenix at a hotel. If you've ever been to Phoenix before, our downtown is maybe a little different from others. I wouldn't say it's a great downtown vibe or experience. It really isn't. There's parts of it that's very sketchy. We've been to other downtowns before, smaller cities and larger cities, and they all have some type of culture, nice buildings and such. Phoenix is kind of a hodgepodge. I mean, that might sound like a bash, but I'm being perfectly honest. Living here for as long as I have, the roads, there's a lot of one-way streets, and you sit there forever at the traffic light. And all the parking there is either meter parking, like a coin-operated meter, or garages, and it's pretty much 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Other cities, neighboring cities like Gilbert, for example, Chandler, they all have a bunch of free parking. So I don't know. It's a moneymaker. They found a way to capitalize on it. So we don't really do a lot of races in Phoenix, but this particular one, I believe they changed over from Scottsdale to Phoenix. I'm not sure how long ago they did, because this is the first time I've ever done the race. I've wanted to do this race for a number of years. It's kind of one of those, gimmicky races. It may not be competitive when you have some of these like themed races, but you can make it as competitive as you want, which I try to be as competitive as possible. So I went into this race with an open mind, and signed up for it. Got my packet pickup on Saturday, and everything went smooth. I got there early, right when they opened, basically a few minutes before 9 a.m. Got my packet. Got this. I'd have to give them props. This little hoodie. Pullover that they typically give. And then they have some nice perks at the end of the race where you get some hot chocolate. It's like fondue, chocolate, marshmallow, and, some goodies. So kudos to them. So, yeah, let's just like jump right into it. Sunday morning was a race. Our race, the 5K, started at 7:25, and then the 10K and 15K starts an hour after that, 8:25. And there is a crap load of people doing the race. Altogether, I think for all three races for the weekend, they said there were 9,000 that registered. I don't know what the final count was. It wasn't quite 9,000, but I believe our race had, let's see if I have it up, 5,474 finishers for the overall. So definitely more than half had run the 5K. The 15K used to be like the premier distance, but if you look at the course map for Phoenix on the 15K, it is nuts. There's so many different turns, which I don't really care for, and it seemed a lot longer. We had friends who did the 15K, and they all did not like the course. Maybe it's just the setting of it, which I can see that. I kind of wish that they would maybe go back to Scottsdale and do it. I'm sure it's a lot nicer than the downtown area. But nonetheless, when the gun went off, I was in Corral A. I'm not a speedster by any means, but I guess I'm quick enough for them to put me in Corral A. So I started there with my wife, and of course my wife heads out. She's ahead of me. My first mile, that first mile, especially in a 5K, you're trying to get your bearings and run a good pace and not go out and burn it out. But just try to see how you're feeling and is this something you can hold. That first mile, I clocked a 7:48 pace, which that's about what I've been running for my 5K, 7:48 to 7:50, 55, right around there. So I felt pretty good. I didn't feel like I was like extremely fresh. I mean, I felt like, this is probably not going to go any quicker. So after that first mile, I just got my breath a little bit. I did slow down a little bit. When we got to mile 1 I believe it was 4, we start to go up this little bridge. And that's the only hill that they have. And so you go up it, you go about maybe 0.2 of a mile, and you climb up, you go down, and then you go kind of right next to it, parallel to that bridge on the bottom, and then you come back up on the other side, and then you go up and over again. So you basically crest the hill twice, which means, what goes up must come down. And I was able to get a little speed under my feet as I was going down the hill. Nothing tremendous. And so after the second mile, I ran, just looking at my splits here, I ran an 8:02. So I felt like, that's good. I would have liked to have been, 7:55-ish, under 8, but I said, nope, we'll deal with that. And we got one more mile to go. So when we come over the hill and we make a left turn, that is, I believe it's Jefferson is the name of the street. Yes. We have about 0.7 miles to go, so close to 3/4 of a mile. And it's a straightaway until you make a final right turn and you go about maybe 150 meters. So knowing that it's a straightaway, I just try to, keep a constant speed going. I was hovering between like low 8s and, 7:55, 56. When I got to the third mile, my watch read 8:01. I was hoping again to be maybe a little quicker, but I do have a little bit of a kick, not always. And when I got to pretty much the 3-mile mark, because you could see it right before we made the right turn, there was this girl to my left. Found out she's about 26, 27 years old, so I've got her by like double the age. She started to speed up a little bit when she heard me coming closer to her. And, it was, no, this was before 3. I should say probably like 2.8 or so, 2.9. A little bit early for me to have to go out, with the sprint. So I just didn't push it any further. Eventually I caught up to her right before we got to the 3-mile sign. And then I kicked it in, made a right turn. And my last 0.12 was 41 seconds, which was a 5:40 pace. I can't hold that for that much longer, but I was able to close out strong and passed her, and actually passed another guy, might have been in my age group. So, it was good. 24:31 7:51 was my time, a 7:53 pace, I believe. So I'm in the ballpark, sub 8. I'm happy with that. Um, if you look at my 5Ks for this year in 2023, I think I may have done like 7 or 8. I'm in the 24:10, 24:11, around that pace. One race was fairly long, so that definitely skewed it a bit. I'm pretty consistent 5K, within 10, maybe 20, 30 seconds tops. I think I did squeeze out a sub 24. That might have been just a hair under the distance. So, yeah, 24. I know there's room for improvement, and I'm always trying to run better. But when I do train for the 5Ks, the paces that I'm training for is pretty close. I think for this one, right after Philadelphia half, there's not that much time, and I didn't go straight to speed work. Maybe 2 weeks later, I did 2x1K, 1,000 meters, and a 2x800. In the 1Ks, my pace, I was putting myself at 8 minutes, and then the Ks at 7:50. And I believe on the Ks, I ran 8:01, maybe 8:02. Pretty much like what I did for the second and third mile. And then on the 800s, I ran about 7:52. So I can't be too upset. I was right on pace. Not really training for a 5K right after a half, but sometimes you got speed under your legs. But yeah, I was excited, and I got a nice little medal here. And they give you hot chocolate, and they give you this like throwaway cardboard bowl that has hot chocolate in the middle and a cup, chocolate fondue, marshmallows, some cheese crackers, and a couple other goodies in there. So yeah, a lot of fun. I think I'll do it again next year. I'll probably stick to the 5K. That 10K and especially that 15K, it is wonky. A lot of turns. So not my cup of tea, but at least they offer 3 different races for everybody. So it is a lot of fun. Tons of people come out. Just it's nice. It's the holiday season. It wasn't too cold, maybe upper 40s. So yeah, that was it. That's a recap of my 2023 hot chocolate race in Phoenix. I'll probably do maybe another vlog at the end of the year, which is right around the corner. I hope you guys have a safe holiday season, and good luck in the new year. I'd love to hear about what some of your goals are and plans and some races you might have. Comment down below, and if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe if you like this video, and thanks again for watching all the way to the end. Thanks again, guys. Have a great rest of your December, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.